This is Garis Masculist MGTOW flyers. That is 2-3-page essays on the themes of masculism and MGTOW, written by and read aloud by Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. This is flyer number 766, part 2, entitled How to Confront a Feminazi. Carrying straight on. So, here is an example of a verbal confrontation between a biconscious masculist and a monoconscious feminist, so that you can try to mimic it yourself with your own coterie of monoconscious feminists. Feminazi, in female voice.
You men are pigs. You men are rapists. You men are toxic.
You, the biconscious masculist. Quote, Go fuck yourself, you misandrist, hypocritical, feminazi cunt. Literally, since we men won't. Women like you are repulsive to men, especially masculisted men like me, who see women like you as repulsive, and in your case, as a fat, ugly, unfuckable. Any man seeing you naked couldn't even see your cunt, since it would be covered by a layer of fat, you sexually repulsive creature. Learn some masculism, you monoconscious feminazi bigot. That's MFB to masculists. Learn how much worse you women oppress men and vice versa, with your manslavery, your divorce rape, your forced fathering. Learn those big three that the masculists keep harping on, so that you see how much worse women oppress men, so that you can understand why masculists, biconscious masculists, who are as familiar with your feminist ideas as they are with their masculist ideas, see you monoconscious feminists as hypocrites and genociders. Masculists have a hatred of monoconscious feminists for their hypocrisy and genocide. Masculists expect feminists to learn some masculism or be harangued out of the room by verbally violent, ideologically hateful masculist rhetoric. You feminazis have so poisoned the minds of young women with your monoconscious feminist misandry that these young women are seen by young men as undateable due to being too poisoned by feminism, says a famous opinion poll by Pew PW Research Centre in 2022, who found that nearly 63%, nearly two-thirds, of young men aged between 18 and 30 don't even date young women because of their feminazi poisoned minds. When two-thirds of young men don't even date young women in the US, then they certainly won't give them their sperm, thus crashing the birth rate and later wiping out whole populations, making you a feminazi genocider, a cancer that has to be eradicated, as a poison that has to be spat out, which is what we masculists are doing. We have a very effective strategy to force you monoconscious feminists to become either biconscious or to rot on the shelf, dying slow, miserable, manless deaths by being totally ignored by men, masculisted men, not even pumped and dumped, left to rot on the shelf, manless, loveless, sexless, babyless, living lonely lives until you die. 99% of you feminists are heterosexual, so you are dependent on men for your sex. We masculists target those men, teaching them masculist ideas, so that they become biconscious. They are already male feminists since they have relationships with you. You would not tolerate them if they were misogynists. If they become biconscious before, in capital letters, you do, then with their biconsciousness and you with your monoconsciousness, they will see you as hypocrites, as bigots. They will become disgusted with you, then dump your ass. With millions of monoconscious feminists thus dumped, this will force these feminists to start thinking about why so many of them got dumped and motivate them to start learning masculist ideas, so that women, feminists, biconscious feminists, become a lot nicer for men to be with. A biconscious feminist loses her anger at men for the ways that men oppress women, since she sees how much worse women oppress men, with women's big three, that is, the worst three ways that women oppress men. She thus has her misandrous feminist anger at men for the ways that men oppress women cancelled by her female masculine anger at women for the ways that women oppress men. And that cancellation will make her a lot nicer for men to be with. With millions of biconscious feminists, they will be in a much stronger position to attract, and especially to keep, a boyfriend. Whereas monoconscious feminists will simply be spat at by men, biconscious masculisted men, who look upon monoconscious feminists as vermin, hypocritical, genocidal vermin, to be effectively exterminated by being totally ignored to death, not even pumped and dumped. So, you fat, ugly, unfuckable, misandrous, male-dumping, feminazi cunt, go away and die, rotting on the shelf. Or learn some masculism, so that you become much nicer for men, masculisted men, to be with. The choice is yours. If you remain an MFB, that's monoconscious feminazi bigot, then go fuck yourself, since no man will. That's your punishment, you hypocritical, genocidal, feminazi cunt. Go away and die on the shelf. End quote. Imagine how the average monoconscious feminist would feel if she were confronted by such a biconscious masculist diatribe. She would be crushed. She would truly feel that her fucking head had been bitten off. She would not like to have to relive such an experience again, so would think twice about trashing men again in public. If she has a boyfriend with whom she has sex with, then she will probably become terrified that he might get infected by the masculinist virus, see her as a hypocritical bigot, and then dump her. That idea will really scare the shit out of her and powerfully motivate her to learn some masculism, and before, in capital letters, he does, or she will risk being dumped and left to die, rotting on the shelf, miserable, manless, sexless, babyless, spat at, rejected both socially and sexually by a society that is becoming ever more masculist and hence biconscious by the month. As masculinist ideas spread across the planet, thanks to the efforts of the manosphere, brackets, that is, men on the internet who talk about men's issues, about men's lib, close brackets. So guys, if you feel inspired by what you could do to monoconscious feminists if you became biconscious masculists, then I hope this flyer has helped you. So go watch Masculist and MGTOW videos. Get informed. Practice haranguing monoconscious feminazis. Then go out into the real world and bite their fucking heads off. Cheers. Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis. Email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com. Website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com. Brackets. Click on the Masculist tab for 760 plus Masculist essays and their videos. Google the terms London Real and Hugo de Garis to see videos on masculism at AI will kill 1 billion people. Do we create our exterminators? Professor Hugo de Garis London Real. Brackets. See the last half hour of this 2-hour interview for the Masculist segment, as well as Countdown to Extinction, How AI Will Exterminate Mankind, again for the last 40 minutes on masculism. These flyers are available in text and video formats on Minds, BitChute, Odyssey, MGTOW.tv, X, and YouTube. I have over 1,000 masculist videos in 16 playlists on YouTube that can be accessed by searching for the channel name, De Garis Masculist Videos. That's all one word. All 1,000 of my Masculist videos, in one long list in most recent first time order, can also be found on X by searching the channel name De Garis Masculist Videos. That's 4 words. ad-libbing now. I hope you like the almost 1 metre tall 3 piles of books on math and physics, which are very colourful. Why do I do this? Well, I call it the Great Wall of Masculism. And why do I do it? Because 30 years ago, when I was pushing the idea that the rise of artificial intelligence would become threatening towards the survival of mankind, wasn't listened to. I was an intellectual crying in the wilderness. And now with masculism, I'm finding something similar. So by putting up this great wall of masculism, I hope I convince viewers that anyone who can understand this really difficult stuff is obviously not a fool. I mean, I do have a Prof. Doctor in front of my name. So if someone sprouting masculinist ideas is thought to be a nutcase, an idiot, well, if that idiot is capable of reading this heavy stuff, then maybe he's not an idiot, and hence, hopefully, my credibility will be raised. And it is rather colourful, don't you think? Ciao.